Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Chat About Death. It is me, Chris, and joined again on the panel with, what's your name, Simon?
Yeah, that's the one.
Had a bit of a brain issue just when I need to be doing this. But anyway, today we are going to be talking about several topics, just to keep it real. And Simon has been doing a little bit of volunteering for, it's a organisation or it's called Find a Grave, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and what is Find a Grave?
So Find a Grave, it's run through Ancestry, and it's basically used to track down your line of ancestors or a relative, brothers, sisters, or your parents, grandparents, things like that.
Just in case you lose them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But it's usually mainly used to track down those who have passed. That's why it's called Find a Grave, because it's dedicated about, burials and cremations and things like that, mainly around burials, whether it's in the ground or in the wall, in a mausoleum, even cremated remains. So let's say your brother passed away in another country, and you know where he was buried, like that cemetery, you know the name of that cemetery.
Yeah.
So you are able to go on their website, do a deceased search, get the plot number, where they're buried, whether it's in a mausoleum or on a lawn or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You then make an account with Find a Grave, and it's free. There's no subscriptions, there's no charging fees or anything like that. And you can put out a request, and you put in the details of which cemetery they're at, the location of where they're buried and things like that. And then a volunteer like myself will claim that request, and then they'll go out and take a photo of the actual tombstone or plaque.
You
or
don't get out to the cemetery, and then all of a sudden you, like, because you were saying earlier, there was a bloke that claimed your one of the jobs you were going to do.
Survival of the fittest out there.
I could just see you running down the aisle or the row of graves and side tackling just someone out of the blue. You took number 269.
Pinning him down and go, right, unclaim that now, mate. That's my ticket.
That is mine. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll take a photo of like the tombstone or the plaque, and they'll upload it to your request.
Right.
And then once it's uploaded, you can view their tombstone, like if you've never seen it before, or you just want to make sure that everything's right, like the death date, the birth date, the inscription, things like that. And it's a good way for people if they're in another country or they can't travel down to the local
I just
cemetery.
found my grandfather and my nana's one that I've never ever seen in my life before.
Now, there's not going to be a memorial for everyone who passes away. You have to physically request it.
Yeah.
But I tried to do my wife's grandfather the other day, and he's already got a memorial. I didn't think so. Obviously, part of her family has requested that they want to see his plaque because he was cremated and his ashes were interred.
Right.
And so, but obviously, a family member's gone, hey, I don't want to go down to Bunurong, or I'm in another state.
Yeah.
Can someone take a photo for me because I want to be able to visit his grave, but digitally? It's like it's like paying your respects, but digitally, if that makes sense. It's different to being in person, but it's better than nothing, I guess. If you can't go down in person, then at least you can see his plaque or her tombstone.
So what made you get into this? What was the thing behind that?
Well, what made me get into it was Shuri.
Yeah.
Shuri here, our conductor arranger, has offered, because she knows I do photography, and I've always shared that. And she said, it'll be a good idea for you to take photos, And I asked her about it, and she goes, yeah, people request to take photos of graves, and you go and do it. So I've looked into it, signed up for a free account, and then I've just gone out and played around with it. And it's actually quite good because I use it to get out of the house, but I also use it to help other people.
Yeah.
And I think it came out in 1995, the whole thing came out in 1995. But it's still active to this day, and it's one of the top ones. Like there's other applications out there that
it's
mimic
like
it.
Death top 10.
Yeah, exactly.
In number 2, we have Find a Grave.
But yeah, exactly. But I think because it's tied onto Ancestry,
Yeah.
which is all about finding your family tree and your
Yeah,
line
well,
and everything.
that's a paid thing anyway for when people want to dig a little bit deeper, so they're able to hold a lot of these sites too and
Yep.
hosting them. So yeah,
But yeah, it's free to be a volunteer. It's free to request tickets. You
Yeah.
know, it's good to look at family. You can find your family. You know, even if you don't know what cemetery they're at, you
Yeah.
can do a deceased search like you did.
yeah,
And if any one that matches those results, if there's a memorial for it,
Mm.
it'll tell you which cemetery in which country, in which state, with
Yeah.
the bed number, the grave number, the wall number, even
yeah,
things like that. You can track it down. So if you ever visit, say Scotland, you could go over there,
yeah.
visit in person,
Good.
because you know exactly where they
Yeah,
are.
I think my nana was scattered on top of the grave because my dad was a bit of a tight ass. May he rest in peace, or whatever, the rest his soul. And then erected a plaque there. So
Yeah.
it was quite No, that was interesting to see that, because I wouldn't have. I mean, he obviously died in the war, so he was only 30. And my nana had two boys, and then so she then came to Australia. So that's like, wow,
Yeah.
a big move.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But he was an airman, and it's just it blows my mind what you can do now. So no, that's good. So if you have a family member that you know that has been buried somewhere, chances are that you might be able to get one of these volunteers like Simon to go and take a photo, and it'll be uploaded, because it is, especially overseas. You're right, you got that fly.
Choking on the water.
Yeah, he's choking on his own spit. That's all right. I laced it with laxatives. It was like,
Well, imagine that.
oh yeah. Oh. So find a grave. You might even have family that you've come from a certain culture. Just put in the surname or a maiden surname, and just see what you get. I mean, I just put in I think it was Ferguson and Brember, and that just managed to find several things. So that was good. I'd had no idea what, especially in Scotland, where or how, or where is this cemetery located. But now I know. So that's brilliant. Yeah, no, that's good. The other thing too, we were talking on one of the other episodes was about different cultures or different. I use the word race. That's probably a good way of, especially a lot of tribal communities or people that aren't in mainstream or metropolitan. They, especially like around the African type of culture. And you're looking at me, and I'm thinking, what is he thinking in his head? But it's so my lovely wife Emma, did some research on this, because I couldn't be stuffed. No, she did some research. Actually, from our brainstorming session, we didn't do much brains, but we had the storming. Some of the things. So the burial of the elders on the Ivory Coast in Africa, the practice of burying their elders under the floor of their homes. This ritual is rooted in the belief that the ancestors protect the living, and by burying elders in their homes, their ancestors can continue to guide and protect their descendants. I guess it was like the old priests and things getting buried in their churches up towards the altar,
Yeah.
like a lot of our big churches that we have in Melbourne, there's lots of underneath the church that no one would be aware of. And even in Melbourne General Cemetery, I've done several priests underneath the chapel that's in there. And they're pretty much placed into a wall, and it's bricked.
So
It's just-
you won't be able to smell it.
No. So not unless you're near the venting.
But would that be the same in the case of these cultures?
Oh, look, that to me, that's a bit.
Or is it just digging up the floor and just, in you go?
Yeah, well, I take it as though that because look, some of them might not even have like proper floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be just bit of dirt. And,
What happens if they move house?
they're going to pull granddad out, the elder. No, very interesting because I mean I don't know if they would how much they would move or what they would do there, but that was interesting.
It'd be interesting to see what kind of preparations they would go into for that to happen.
Yeah. Well, there's another one which is the horn blowing ceremony from Kenya. The Maasai, I hope I've pronounced that right, in Kenya is known for their horn blowing ceremony during funerals. The ceremony involves the blowing of cow horns to summon the spirits of the deceased. The horns are blown in a series of patterns and rhythms, probably more so than moo. You knew I just had to.
I can see you reaching for it.
Yeah. Series of patterns and rhythms with each pattern having a certain meaning. I'm not quite sure what that is, but...
Would there be a negative consequence if they mix the pattern up?
Well, imagine that. You had one job, and that was to do the cow horns.
It's got the tone wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The Royal Cemetery in over there. They have a royal ceremony that is reserved for the burial of their kings and queens, thus the name Royal Ceremony. The cemetery is known as, obviously, that Royal Cemetery. The cemetery is guarded by warriors who are responsible for protecting the royal family.
Mm.
So no one else can go near it. You just see through the fence.
Wow.
That's probably electrified anyway.
If not worse.
So yeah, you can't go and visit. Can't go and visit. King Kundong. Don't they do that? Don't some of the African cultures have got that dialect of where they go, but there's a lot of that.
I'm guessing that each click would represent a different meaning, I guess.
That's right.
But how would you write that down?
Well, yeah. This is how's this one? The crying ceremony, and this is in South Sudan. The Dinka people of South Sudan have a unique burial ritual that involves a ceremony where mourners sing, cry, and dance around the deceased body. The ceremony is believed to help the deceased spirit transition to the afterlife and bring comfort to the living.
I could see that happening, and I
Yeah.
think I've seen a bunch of that in like films and things.
Yeah.
Usually, especially if it's a cremation, like an old style cremation.
They also have, I think there was something else that Emma was telling me about too, that they actually pay people just to come and cry.
Paid mourners.
It's like you come along, scream, because apparently that summons the gods or whatever to come and take their loved one away.
Can that still happen even to this day? Like,
I'm sure there'll be rent a crowd.
rent a
Or,
crowd.
I'm sure there would be people there that just show up and...
So if, in case a family didn't have like friends or extended family, they can hire people to make it feel...
Yeah, just turn up. There used to be a guy that used to just randomly turn up to funerals and then go and have the catering after. And I think he didn't really live anywhere. I think he was... But he dressed quite nicely, so I don't know how that worked. But, yeah, he would just, you go... Hang on, you were on the funeral this morning. And especially the larger funerals where no one would know anyone.
Wow.
It's like just, I like those scones and jam. Oh, look at those cheese
They
and
kinda just blended in.
chicken chive sandwiches.
So he's kind of just blended in for the free catering.
Yeah. How do you know, Bob? Oh, look, going back. I used to drive with him. Did you? You never had a license? No, that's why I drove. Yeah. Yeah, so crying, singing, dancing. I mean, that does sort of happen with some of our other cultures in today's terms. I don't know about the dancing, but I know singing, like the Islanders tend to
I
sing a
guess
lot.
the
and
whole thing is sort of like a parting sort of farewell. Sort of like when you have a graduation type thing.
Yeah.
Or a Christmas breakup party at work.
Yeah.
Or let's say you're moving on to another job
Yeah.
and you're part of a really good close company and they decide to throw you a going away party.
Yeah.
I think it's the same regard, just spiritual
Yeah.
form.
That's right. The other one is the Chukwi people in Angola have a unique burial ritual that involves the use of red coffins.
Red coffins.
Yeah, the coffins are made from redwood and are believed to symbolize the blood of the deceased. The
Okay.
belief is that the red coffin will protect the deceased in the afterlife.
Is it?
But you think about it, like, and I'm only just thinking because I know you're going to debunk this.
I'm going to try.
He's got his if you only saw him, he's got his debunking hat on. He's going, I don't know. So my thing is, okay, so someone passes away, they're placed into a coffin. To me, that's their earth body. The soul goes and then
Yeah.
reincarnates or do what. So how does that protect them in the afterlife when they're not actually in that body anymore?
Unless they have the same mentality that the Egyptians had and what they believe in
Yeah.
terms of, because they got buried with a lot of stuff, thinking they could take it with them. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
well,
that was the Egyptians, yeah?
Yeah, how did that end up for them?
Not so well.
Yeah, it's like the what do they call them? The pharaohs and all that. Imagine getting there. It's like, right, okay, where's my chalice? Ah, bloody hell!
Bob's left it behind. Oh, we can't go back now.
Didn't he bury it with me? I swear to God, I saw it. Nah, wouldn't you? Yeah, you'd be pissed, wouldn't
Yeah, but it raises the question that we're assuming that when the soul leaves the body that we're still going into an hostile territory, whereas other beliefs,
Hmm.
depends really what you believe in again. Because if you believe that you go from this world to a world where there's no evil and there's just no bad things, no evil, nothing,
Yeah.
just pure happiness, everything like that, then you don't need protection.
you? No.
But if you're saying that you need protection, then you obviously have a belief that you can still be hurt even in the afterlife, in some regard.
Yeah. I just, this whole, I guess protecting and all that type of stuff. I mean, we've heard of the superstitions of other things that they do with loved ones. So we're only going by what others have experienced as
Yeah.
what they believe is correct.
Yeah.
Or what are they, the old witch doctors that knew more about things, but I just think they're a little bit more loopy than some.
Yeah. Too much opioids.
I think you need to lay off on that, bro. Yeah. So red coffins, yeah. So interesting because we don't tend to, I mean, apart from rosewood, but they're not actual like redwood.
Yeah.
But
but,
yeah,
but in this regard, these ones are.
yeah, these are actual redwood coffins. So one thing that is certain is they believe in the importance of the right burial. If the deceased is not buried correctly, or they are a person who lived a dishonorable life, then their ghost can remain as part of the world of the living and wander around causing harm.
Sort of like an earthbound spirit.
Yeah. Like you're here, you don't go anywhere.
That would suck.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine going
But
through...
I'm sure there's lots.
Can you
I'm sure.
imagine, right, living till 100, 110? You've lived a dishonorable
Going,
life.
oh, here we go. I'm off I go.
Yeah,
Nope.
you're on a deathbed. You're going, oh God, I'll give him 24 hours to live. I want to leave this crappy world. You're depressed. You're out of it. You just want out, right? And you pass away. You go, yes.
But 100,
And then
100 years against eternity, that's
Yeah.
big, yeah.
And then you die, and you're going, yes, I'm free. And that one spirit or whoever's on the other side goes, nah, you're staying, mate.
Yeah.
You
But
go,
no
"Oh,"
one can see you.
or hear you
Yeah.
or talk to you.
You're just there.
You just exist without any attention.
The other thing, this is sort of maybe going into a little bit of superstition as well, but we did speak on one episode about witches and sorcerers and those that are deemed to be not deserving may also be denied a proper burial. This way they are denied the honour of being part of like a living community. Once again, witches and sorcerers and wizards. You're a wizard, Harry. We've got one of them. We've got a Harry, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Spitting image. I need to dress up like a Hagrid one day.
But yeah, well, once again, you're dealing with anything that would play with magic, I guess, or play with the whole moving parts. But something's happened to make people believe that.
But that also falls into like a little bit of like Catholic and Christianity beliefs as well.
Yeah.
Because it also says that if you play with like spirits, or if you do magic, or you're trying to do something evil,
Yeah.
in the eyes of the Lord, that's not your responsibility. That's not what He wants you to do. So you're already going against that, and
Yeah.
you'll be punished for it, basically.
Yeah.
So it goes into a bit of superstition, but it also falls back on a little bit of faith as well.
There is also many, I think it's tribes throughout Africa. It's going to also have influence over the variations of death rituals. They usually have a similar basis, but with some beliefs, the dead and respect for their ancestors. That paragraph was quite out there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good one, Emma. Maybe I should pre-read these before we come on air.
No, that takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, just go, it wasn't that the same as what we just read. This one we have spoken a little bit about before, but the preparations as part of the death rituals began by preparing the home as soon as the person dies. Now, back in the old days, they used to have like the wake room, which was normally the one where you walked in the front door and it was either to the left or the right. A lot of now people call that the formal dining area, or the second living space. But in the older homes, that was where they'd lay the body out.
Yep.
And people would come and go and have a drink and have a scone and jam and whatever, and then the body would then be taken out. So we also were talking about pictures that were turned to face the wall, and all mirrors, as we said before, needed to be covered, as well as any reflective surfaces, because it was said that the dead could not see themselves. This one's weird, right? And I don't know now I think it's in my head, but in South Africa, the windows are also smeared with ashes. Now, I automatically went into my head cremated ashes.
I just thought the same.
But no, it'll be from the fires.
I was literally about to ask that question. Are we talking?
Didn't like John. Just smear his ashes up against the wall. But no, it was, obviously fire ash. The bed needs to be removed from the person's bedroom, as well as a vigil is to be held in the home where the whole community comes. Have to make sure you clean and, clean your bathroom and all that. Where the whole community comes to pay respect as well as offer their condolences. This other thing, which we were saying before, loud crying may also be heard in the period before burial, when the whole community, the mourners, arrive, and to be heard from a distance.
From a distance?
It'd be probably like that curlew scream that we heard, Oh, Bob's died. Oh, look, hear it. Like, wow. There are also rituals that are performed for the removal of the body from the house, whether they are being taken to the morgue or straight to the burial site. Excuse me. This is done as a way of confusing the dead, right? So they can't find their way back home or into the house anytime soon. Some examples of this would be taken through a hole in the wall rather than through the front door. So they would go out through the wall, and then that would be bricked as soon as they leave.
So if the spirit was to come back, they go, oh, this wasn't here before.
Yeah, there was a hole here, but there's not now.
But let's say...
Or the other thing, just quickly, or they'd be taken, they'd be zigzagging.
Zigzagging.
Yep. to get out, or making sure they didn't go the correct way and went the long way. And
But we're assuming, right, that if you pass away, we assume that the spirit still has some sort of intellect.
yeah, well, yeah,
Well, if you go back to let's take the hole for example. Okay, you brick it, you go through the hole, you brick it up,
yeah.
spirit comes back. Wouldn't you just turn and go? There's a door there.
Or as a spirit, wouldn't you just walk straight through the door?
Yeah, considering the fact that or you look for
You don't need the hole in the wall or the door because you can walk through everything.
or look for a reflective surface.
Yeah.
So because
I need to get a thing that says debunked.
because like
I will find it. Don't you wait until next episode. We will find a debunked soundtrack.
oh, I'm sure it's on there.
Yeah.
You could always make one. You
Yeah.
could always use Audacity
That's
and
right.
say debunked and then bring down the tone and then put it into that thing. Problem solved. And if people want it, you sell it for $2 a pop.
That's it. Debunked.
But it's true though,
Simon has done it.
because we're assuming that when you die, your brain just goes to mush.
Yeah.
Then
So how's that? Like,
That's
out
different.
a wall, out a window. Well, you guys did a window the other day.
oh, we did.
Yeah.
It actually went a lot smoother than I thought it would. To be honest.
Yeah. Now, the reason you're probably thinking, wow, you took someone out a window. It was this lovely lady was in a casket, and it was her actual bedroom. I think they went through, and we weren't able to take her through the main door. And they were big believers of their loved one being at home for a few hours, and so they went through the window, and that worked really well. So, but I wouldn't believe that her spirit would be going, "Oh, he went through my bedroom window. I used to climb out of there all the time."
I'm still doing it to this time. But and it
yeah.
wasn't. We didn't take her out of the casket. The whole casket went
Oh, through
the
the
window
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So we didn't take her out and carry her through.
The other thing about Africans also believe that anyone or anything that has come into contact with as the deceased is classed as unclean or polluted. And we did a live TikTok the other day, and we were having a bit of a chat about certain things, and gloves came up from Simon, and yeah, it was. They used to believe if you touch a coffin or anything else like that, then at least if you take your gloves off and you put them into the grave, then you're not going to have cooties all over you or something.
Yeah, well, we had a funeral maybe a month ago now,
Yeah.
or a few weeks ago, and they had white gloves, right? And they were using it to carry the casket to the grave out of the chapel and whatnot, and then they threw the gloves into the grave. And I don't know if it's just because they want to get rid of them, or if they believe in that superstition where the soul can go through the casket.
I think this family, they probably have had that belief.
Because my question is, what's the gloves made out of then?
Well, it's cotton. One's from Coles.
You can walk through a wall, but you can't go through a glove.
I know, and that's where some of these superstition things.
Unless
and
someone
it's really
made
interesting because we get to debunk it all.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
great. Debunked.
Unless I think I just thought of something. Maybe people are so scared because there's a lot of people that believe into the spiritual realm and things, and it does scare the crap out of people. Maybe someone made it up to make someone else feel comfortable.
Oh, I think so. Like half of this stuff, you'd be going
Sort of like when you were a kid,
yeah.
and you heard noises, you would hide under the blanket because that always made you feel safe. When in reality, if you did that nowadays, you just cripple yourself even further because you can't see it coming.
No, that's right.
So
wouldn't you just don't go or under your bed or the parents just go, oh, if you don't go to sleep, that monster's going to come out of that cupboard. You know what that did to my friggin' head? Hey, you know what that did to me? Trauma. And I am sure there is people out there that could say 100% if you were on microphone now of exactly what their parents used to do to make you go to sleep, or what they, if you do that, such and such is going to come and take your teeth out, or
yeah,
it's like, Santa's not going to, arrive, or, and you can't do this and you can't do that. It's like, oh, okay, mummy.
Yeah, they're trying to scare you into line, but in reality, it's just traumatizing you for further problems.
Yeah, and then you go down the line when you do become a parent, and you think all of that stuff that your parents have just told you has been. So what's one of the first things your parents tell you to do? Don't lie,
Yeah.
right? And then for how many years until you believe certain things, then you go, so you're having a go at me, but who's been the liar?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that even stems to this day as well. You know,
Oh yeah,
people tell you not to lie, so you don't lie, but they don't like what you have to say either.
yeah, but don't lie.
Or you get that saying, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Well, then I wouldn't be telling the truth, then would I? So you can't have it both ways.
So the glove, just to go back to the gloves, yeah. So people feel they say that you're unclean and polluted. Yeah.
Unclean and polluted.
So that is saying that pretty much a deceased, as soon as they die, they're rubbish.
Yeah, that's not right.
That person stinks. That person is disgusting. Yet you've had 10 kids with that person. You've gone overseas with that person. You've done everything. Ugh.
And that's my argument even to this day, where people love you and they cherish you, but as soon as they pass away, oh no, I can't be in the same room
Oh,
as them.
don't touch them. Oh, you don't touch a deceased, do you?
Exactly.
Oh my God, yeah. So, what's it? There's cleansing rituals that they must perform.
Now, would these cleansing, these kind of rituals take place like in the morgue, like on the mortuary table itself as well? If they're doing rituals everywhere else,
I think it happens so they do it before the burial, and then again about 7 days after the burial. Some tribes, such as the Ashanti tribe, cleanse the deceased by the eldest woman of the family washing the body 3 times, then dries and dresses it. So, yeah, that can physically be part of it. It's just like some of the other cultures that we get to do that.
but if that was the case, would they still need the mortician to do
Probably not.
the rituals, or would the mortician step out and then
Step out and
they
do it.
step
We
in?
do what we have to do. Then it says here the things that the deceased may have used, such as chairs, utensils, are put away until the mourning period is over, as well as their clothes. These are often given to family members or burned when the mourning ends. After a time, the house, as well as the family members, go through a cleansing involving herbs, which is believed to remove misfortune and darkness. I don't know about that. I don't know if that just says that you're telling someone, in my opinion, you're telling someone that you love them and all of that, and then all of a sudden they're gone and they're rubbish.
Unless it. All right, so let's try and put ourselves in their shoes. What happens if
What happens if they're not wearing shoes?
Then we'll put them in their feet, then in their position, through their eyes.
Debunked.
Okay, let's say what happens if they were in love with the soul, the spirit, but not the physical form. So when they die, the spirit moves on, and the physical form's left behind,
Yeah.
and that's probably why they don't show any love. Because I don't agree with that. Because I'd still love the physical form.
Yeah.
Because it still feels like they're there,
Yeah,
just sleeping.
yeah, definitely.
That's why it still baffles me on why people go, oh yeah, I love them, we're close, and passes away, and then they go, nah, can't be in the same room, can't even be at the funeral.
No.
It's too much for me, too much. But maybe it is. They love the spiritual form of it. They love their soul, they love their spirit. Once they die, spirit moves on, nothing left behind.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, it could be.
But
Could be.
if they don't believe in spirits, then I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Becomes, I don't know. So there you go. That's so we've learnt a little bit about Find a Grave. So Find a Grave, just to rehash, is if you have a loved one that has been buried or did you say cremated as well?
Yeah, cremated.
But only if they've been memorialised.
Yeah, and anyone can memorialise them. Like
Right.
anyone.
So if you have a loved one and you're not sure, or you weren't involved in the process, or even overseas, go on to find a grave. I think it's findthegrave.com, and put in your name or the cemetery that you believe that person might be in. And if there isn't a picture or it isn't on there, you can do a free account, put in your details, or they'll issue a ticket, and then some volunteer will then go and hopefully find that grave and take a picture. So what a great way to extend our family history a little bit. Yeah, I'm actually going to dig a little bit deeper on mine. Yeah, because once, it's like when my mum passed and my dad passed, like all that history's gone.
Mm.
Because I remember as a kid, they never really spoke about it.
No.
They just went, oh, yeah, Jono's gone. It's
Like, there's a lot of people nowadays trying to track down their families. Like, I had someone message me yesterday afternoon saying, thank you for taking a photo of this person's grave. Now this will help me track down more of my family.
Like my uncle, so that's my dad's brother, died when he was 38. And his ashes were actually placed in with a tree. It was newly planted, so it was part of the root system.
Yep.
And now it's this huge oak tree, and he's got a plaque on it in Lura, which is in the Blue Mountains or Katoomba. Yeah, it might be down the end of Lura Street in Katoomba. And, people are going past him every day, and it just blows me away how they do that, So there are so many different options when it comes to things. But yeah, if you don't know where people are, then just give it a go.
There's no money involved.
No.
It's completely free.
Yeah.
I'm a free volunteer. I just go around helping people, and it gets you out of the house, and it helps you learn layouts of cemeteries and visiting new places and things.
Yeah.
So it's a benefit all round.
Yeah, and the other thing that we've learned a little bit about today is some of the African cultures, and some of their weird and wacky ways of doing it. But look, for their time, it works. If it works, some people might think that our way's a little bit backward.
Oh, guaranteed. Like
Like
places around the
I
world.
reckon what we do as Aussies is quite simple compared to some of the others that are a little bit more, singing and dancing, and they go for 4 days rather than half an hour, 45 minutes. So yeah, I think that's been great. Do you have anything else that you want to share, or?
Not that anything comes to mind apart from, make sure to check out the merch store.
Oh yes, the merch store.
Yeah, you can't forget about the merch store.
So how can people find that?
Why, hello there.
Or you can
And welcome.
Sorry.
Well, you can find it through your Spotify, because I think you've got an ad on your Spotify for it as well, or a link.
TikTok, mate. TikTok.
Yeah, but Spotify as well. I'm
Is
pretty
it on
sure.
there?
Pretty sure it is.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, TikTok's the main one if
Yeah.
you want to grab it, or you can type in, let's chat about death Shopify on Google, and that'll come up as well, because it is
Beautiful.
run through Shopify,
Yeah.
and it's simple as scrolling through what you want and just
Look,
clicking, putting your details.
some of the and look, we were asked by all of you to do a merchandise store, so we did one, and we have people that are purchasing, and it's fantastic. But if you have any ideas for any other merchandise, then send us a message via TikTok. Let's Chat About Death podcast is on there. I do talk about it quite a bit when we're on there, but sometimes when people come off lives, they've got kids they've got to deal with or whatever. But merchandise, there's coffee mugs, there's pillowcases, there's like hoodies and T-shirts and gym gear and all sorts of stuff there. And like I said, you asked for it, so we provided it. So TikTok, Let's Chat About Death podcast, go to the bio, click on that, or what did you say? Put in Let's Chat About Death
Shopify.
and Shopify, and that'll come up with that.
But maybe once a month also too, if any viewers would like to do up a design, maybe once a month we can feature one of those designs on a shirt or something if it works.
Yeah, I'm waiting
Possible.
I'm waiting on Simon's, but no, he went off and did his own. So there you go. It's right.
I've run out of ideas. I need some influence.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Simon, yet again. Another great episode of Debunking.
Debunking on Let's Chat About That.
And we've brought the debunker in. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that like we have. And until we catch up again, enjoy. Bye.
Bye-bye.